welcome back to the channel. Today is just going to be literally me driving and talking to you guys. Happy New Year. It is now 2024, which is insane. I'm going to have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old this year. I turned 27 this year, and yeah. So let's just drive and chat real quick. So I kind of went technology / like social media free over the holidays and kind of like the last 2-ish weeks of 2023. I just wanted to be a little bit more present. It's something that I'm working on implementing into this new year. I just feel like I was spending so much time like consuming myself into social media, whether that was just scrolling and not really needing to scroll, if you know what I mean. Like, I wish this would just stay still like this, but it just wants to shake because I'm driving, so whatever. Anyways, I feel like I just do like pointless scrolling, which I am going to work on because I don't know why I'm wasting my time doing that. I feel like the older I get, the more I realize how toxic social media really actually is. Not only because like we spend so much time on it, but like comparing and seeing where other people are in like their life and stuff like that. A lot of it's just not even true. That's the worst part about it. Like, that's why my YouTube channel is just me being like authentic and genuine, because not everybody has like picture perfect lives. I definitely don't, and that's kind of why I made my YouTube channel, was because a lot of like the channels that I was watching way back when, I feel like they were just like, I don't want to say fake, but like definitely like sugarcoating a lot of things, which I don't blame them sometimes. But this year I'm just working on kind of being more present, more genuine, more authentic, all the good stuff. And that's why I'm making this video, because I just kind of want to discuss things that have been going on in my life, things that I want to like do this new year, things that we are going to be doing this new year, all the fun stuff. So let's get into kind of what's been going on behind the scenes. So as you guys know, I had my daughter in August last year, so she is almost 5 months old this week. So 5 months postpartum. I exclusively pump weaning. I spend a lot of time pumping and filling milk bags and, you know, keeping track of my freezer stash and all this other fun stuff. And I feel like this time around I'm a lot more positive about it. Like, I'm just being a little bit more laid back. So I feel like if I were to be pumping more, I would have a lot more supply in my freezer and like what I put out in a day. But at the same time, because I'm still pumping more than what she eats in a day, I'm still considered like an oversupplier. So like where I'm at, I'm comfortable with. I only pump 4 times a day. I'm not strict about it, as long as it's like in between every 4 to 5 hours. So that's always been kind of like my goal, is every 4 to 5 hours. Again, I pump 4 times a day, so I wake up and I pump anywhere from 9 o'clock in the morning until like 10:30. Get those puppies pumped. I don't wake up in the middle of the night, so normally my first pup is pretty large, like 16 to almost 20 ounces every morning, which is a lot of people think, but I'm so used to it. So when it even drops below like 16, I'm just like, oh no, which is just, it's life when you pump and you're trying to feed your child, along with taking care of yourself. So with that being said, my pumping journey has been a lot better this time. I breastfed with Cohen, and then I gave up around like 5 months, I think. He still had breast milk until he was around 6 months old, and then he went into like formula. But I got the IUD with Cohen at my 6-week appointment, and I literally bled, TMI, but I bled for 2.5 months. Literally got it out like 2 weeks before my wedding and was still bleeding from my wedding. And that really affected my milk supply then. So this time around, I have not been on birth control. I don't know when I'm going to go on birth control, if I go back on birth control, just because it's always affected my body in not the best ways. I hated the IUD, so I will never ever get an IUD again. I know a lot of people love it. I know a lot of people hate it. There's so many controversial things depending on what birth control you go with. I don't know what I'm doing. I know my OB really pushed me to get on the pill right now, but again, I didn't feel like that was necessary right now. I'm not gonna be, you know, stupid about anything or anything like that, but yeah. She called in the pill, but I'm not taking it, if that makes sense. So I just did what she wanted me to do, but I'm not going to continue, you know what, taking it. So I did hit 1,000 ounces in my freezer stash last week of December, which is awesome. I want to hit like 4,000 to 5,000, I think, just so once I hit that, I can be done pumping in general, and then by then she'll have enough in the stash so she can just eat that, and then I can kind of go back to normal. So yeah, that's it for the background with pumping. So last month Cohen started his therapy. He goes twice a week from noon to like 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm actually heading to pick him up right now, which is why I felt like now is a good time to hop on here. Gracelyn is taking a nap right behind me, as you guys can see. But Cohen is at therapy twice a week for like 3-ish hours, so 6 hours-ish a week total right now. They want him to get up to 30 hours a week. I don't feel like he necessarily needs that many hours, so I probably will talk to them about it eventually, that I'd like to like cut back on that, because like that's almost like a full-time job in itself. And I know like when I worked even like 28 hours sometimes, like it's just exhausting. You guys are probably like 20 hours really. I have a strong work ethic when I want to, but I feel like I've always felt like there's just something bigger out there for me, if that makes sense. Like whether that's me run a business or me do successful on my YouTube channel, like I just have always felt like creative in that kind of a sort of sense. And yeah, so Cohen's been going to therapy. He loves it. I always ask if he wants to go see his therapist's name. I'm not going to name her name on here. And he gets really super excited. Doesn't ever throw a fit when I drop him off, which is really encouraging for me, being that I'm dropping him off for a couple of hours a day. It's also nice to kind of like get that like breather, because I'm not gonna lie, like being a mom to an autistic kid is a lot of work, like mentally and physically, emotionally, all of it. Like it's just a lot of work, and I don't feel like I talk about that enough. I feel like a lot of moms or parents of, you know, autistic children don't talk about it enough, because they feel like when they do, it's just like, oh my gosh, you should be, you know, grateful. And like, I'm obviously super grateful for my son and my children in general, but I'm also not going to sugarcoat it and act like it's easy, because it's not. I'm still learning and trying to teach myself how to handle certain situations, because I myself get overstimulated. I have ADHD. So I have a lot of characteristics that he has. I just never presented them in these kinds of ways that like Cohen obviously does. And he's shown some improvement ever since like I stopped working and I'm at home and I'm focusing more on him and the kids. He's shown a lot of improvement with that, but there are still instances where he has bad days just like everybody else. And sometimes when he has a bad day, it almost makes me have a bad day because I feel like, you know, what I'm doing isn't enough for him, which is completely false, and I know this, but it's hard to sometimes like accept the bad days. Like I'm always like, oh, we should always have good days. Like I'm being a little bit more realistic about it now, knowing that, you know, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. So I feel like in that area I have been struggling personally. I just haven't been talking about it because, like I said, I feel like if I were to talk about it the way I want to talk about it and stuff like that, I feel like people would almost not understand unless you are also kind of in the shoes that I'm in. So I think eventually I will talk about it and kind of like my journey of healing myself along with, you know, learning more about Cohen and how to help him and everything like that. But it's been a journey in itself, and it's definitely like taxing on everybody, I want to say. Like now trying to like relearn how we do things and whatnot. It's been a learning experience. Let's just keep it at that. So he's loving therapy. He's doing really well. I'm learning and going along with a lot. We haven't had any like the family meetings that we're supposed to have yet, but we will start that eventually. We're just trying to get his feet wet basically at this point and kind of go from there. So kind of right along with what I was saying, kind of that I'm not talking about certain things when I should be, and I know I should be. I think I am having a little bit of postpartum depression. Now with Cohen, you guys know I was having like crippling postpartum anxiety. I think I, you know, had postpartum depression, but it wasn't as obvious as the anxiety. This time I don't really have postpartum anxiety. I should say I don't have it the way I did with Cohen. Like it's a lot more tolerable. I can manage it. I feel like my depression is kind of like right now, and like my moods are fine and whatever else, but like I feel like my motivation has been slacking, which kind of tells me that like my mind has a lot that it needs to deal with right now, which is why I'm not keeping up in certain areas, such as like motivation to clean or motivation to get ready. Like this is the first time I've gotten ready other than for like a special event in a long time, and I want to start doing that again because I feel like when I implement getting ready, like doing my hair and my makeup, or you know, just doing my hair or washing my face, like I'm trying to implement a lot of this stuff into this new year because it's important, especially when like you're trying to find yourself other than just being a mom. So like when you become a mom, that almost becomes like your whole identity for a while. And I can say this because I experienced it with Cohen, so I'm allowed to talk on this. Once Cohen turned like 2 years old, I feel like my like who I was before Cohen / who I was turning into now that I was a mom was finally coming through. Like I was becoming a lot more confident and, you know, doing more things other than just focusing on the kids, which is really hard to do now. when I got pregnant with Graceland, everything was great. I was positive, all the good stuff. Like, my pregnancy was great until the end. Obviously, you guys know all this. But I feel like I'm in that, like, loss of identity stage again, where, like, I'm almost, like, uncomfortable with myself and I'm not confident in myself. So, like, I'm trying to, like, push through this stage, and I'm being positive throughout it at the same time, and trying to be patient to myself, you know, during all of it, because I know, like, with time it's gonna get better. So I have to keep, like, looking at it that way, or it's just not. I feel like it's gonna take a long time again to, like, try to gain that confidence back. So that's why I'm gonna be working on doing a lot more self-care for myself. You guys are gonna be like, ew, Kennedy, this is gross. But, like, I don't really ever shave my legs anymore. Like, I just don't. And it's not that, like, I don't want to. Like, I obviously want to. It's, like, the motivation to add something else into, like, my shower routine that makes it difficult to just not want to do it at all, that I haven't been doing it. So that's another thing I'm going to be working on, is shaving my legs, because I miss the feeling of shaving my legs and then, like, hopping into bed at bedtime and it just being super, like, relaxed. I don't know. It's, like, satisfying. So I want to start doing that, like, moisturizing, all the stuff, because, like, that was so important to me before I got pregnant in general. Like, doing my makeup, getting ready, a lot of self-care. Like, I had 8,000 steps in my skincare routine, like, and I feel like I've been slacking on myself, which is why I'm in, like, a postpartum depressional stage, is because I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not making myself feel good. All the fun stuff. I did just start something new. I also have become a brand partner with them, just because it was free in the month of December, and when something's free, I don't ever say no. So I dove into, it's called Amari Global. I don't know if you guys have been seeing all over on social media. It's called, like, oh, I'm drinking my happy juice, like, this kind of thing. And I kept looking at it like, yeah, freaking right. Like, that's how I look at things. Like, Monate has always been, like, my go-to. I love my Monate. I still use Monate. It's just my baby. I love it a lot. Now that I'm not working and everything, it's obviously, like, a lot more expensive, because we're on a single income right now, which is not fun. So I started the Amari Global, and I am doing the happy juice right now, and I'm actually loving it. I've already noticed a huge difference, like, even in my face. It's not as puffy. I feel like my skin's trying to clear up again, and I just feel like I have a little bit more motivation lately too, which is, like, funny to even say, but I've noticed these small things, and, like, if it's gonna make me happy, then I'm gonna do it, because I don't base my stuff off of what everyone else says. Like, I just go with it, and if it makes me happy, it makes me happy. So I personally like happy juice right now. I drink it every single morning. It's delicious, and I've noticed some, like, differences already, which is a great thing. It's why I started it to begin with. And yeah, that's basically it for, like, talking about me. So let's get into kind of what I want to do this new year and what we are doing. So this year I am going to be implementing, like I just said, a lot more self-care towards myself. I want to be more present, so not spending as much time on my phone, on, like, social media and stuff like that. Even if that means I have to delete some of the apps, then that's what I'm going to do for a little bit, because I feel like focusing on myself and doing some like reflection along with focusing on my family in general is super important right now. And so like those are goals that I've made for myself, along with the fact that like I really want to work on becoming a better like homemaker, like, you know, making dinner from scratch every night, journaling, and, you know, making bread. I want to start making bread, which is hilarious to even say, but like I would really like to start making bread and just doing those kind of small little things. I would like to eventually like have a garden and have chickens. Like, I can see myself being like a homestead mom. It's what I've always wanted to have anyways, and like have chickens so we have our own eggs, and a garden so we have like vegetables and stuff like that. Like, these are things that I want to work and start easing myself into right now. And we live in an apartment, which makes a lot of it difficult to do anyway, but I want to start doing it now. Other goals for this year is I really want to get Cohen to a point where we can get him into school, whether it's this coming fall or next spring. I just don't want him to get like too far behind to where he's like the oldest in the class kind of thing. That's what my sister actually went through, and she was the oldest in her class, like almost by like a year. And she obviously was close with a lot of people, but I just want him to get into school. I think it would be really good for him, socialization wise, and all the fun stuff. I also feel like I would really like to go back to work eventually this year, even if it's just like 2 days a week, just to start working again, because I need that for myself. And I can't think of any other really like goals I have for this year, but things that we're gonna be doing are like, we are going to be going to Florida, which something that we always look forward to. I just arrived at Cohen's therapy, so I can see him right now in the window looking at me. So if I have to pause here for a second, I'm gonna pause here for a second. But with that being said, we are gonna be going to Florida. I do want to do like some like mini vacations here in Michigan, like our home state. Obviously I want to go down to Frankenmuth because we go there every year, so that's one thing I'd like to do. I also think it would be fun to try to go to Mackinac Island again this year, just again to do something. So I want to be a little bit more active this year and spend more time like outside, even when it's freezing cold, because I hate the cold. It's only January and there is literally no snow anywhere here, which is not normal, by the way, guys. We always are like in feet of snow right now. So other things, I can't really think of anything else right now, but I wanted to spend some time talking because why not? I think that's gonna conclude the vlog. I can see them trying to get him all ready to go right now. So I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday season and are having a great new year. I'll see you later. Bye.